Hey guys, it's Sam. Welcome back to Vlogmas. Today I can now officially admit which books I won't get to before the end of the year, which is in a few days. I'm reading the books that I will finish by the end of the year. These I won't. There's actually not that many. I got to most of what I wanted to read in 2022. Like, yes, there are books still on my TBR, but there were only a few, only 5 that I was really like, man, I wish I would've gotten to that this year, you know? The first, the biggest deal. Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. When will I get to this? I don't know. This book, I never looked at it throughout the year and was like, I want to read that, because if that would have happened, I would have just picked it up. It's so intimidating. They're so large. And like, I don't think I'm gonna reread Way of Kings. Like, maybe I should, because I read it, I think, in 2020. I think I remember most important bits, and I really could not, I could not bring myself to do it if I had to go back and reread another 1,000-page book before I get to this one. But I do want to continue with the series. It's up to book 4. I don't know when book 5 is gonna come out. One of you will probably tell me in the comments. And I think book 5 is when like this arc stops, and then there's like gonna be sort of like a new arc. Like, it's gonna be a very long series, but I've owned this for a few years now. Like, it does need to happen. I almost need to like write on my calendar for 2023, like, this is when you're going to read this, just so I know. I mean, part of me also is like, oh, read it during my Tome Topple. Yeah, but then that's like the only thing I read. Although this time, I read 5 books during Tome Topple, so maybe I could do it. It's just, it's a lot. Maybe if someone's doing like a Cosmere read along, I know a lot of people do those, maybe that would motivate me, I don't know. But I would have liked to have gotten to it just so I don't have it hanging over my head, but then the next book would be hanging over my head, and the next book. And it's not that I don't enjoy them. It's just a lot. Next is one that I was like sort of on the fence about, and I didn't realize that I would have been like about it when I didn't get to it. And that is Bonecryer's Dawn by Catherine Purdy. This is one that I was gonna read during spooky season, just didn't get around to, not enough time. And I got the audiobook for it, and then I started listening to it. I was actually gonna read it before the end of the year. And I got it and I was like, oh shoot. I don't remember anything from the first book. I remember enjoying the first book though. So then I like read the synopsis for this one, read the synopsis for the first one. I was like, I enjoyed the first book a lot. There's a lot of elements of like the underworld and death magic and the moon and owls and like all this stuff that like I just really like. So I was like, okay, that means that I can't finish this year, and I actually need to go back and read Bonecryer's Moon again. So I think I'm gonna do that. I don't know if I'm gonna read the audiobooks, because I didn't really like love the narrator there, but I own both books. I still own Bonecryer's Moon, which means that I liked it enough to keep it on my shelf, because I think I really enjoyed it. I wanna say it was like a 4-star potentially for me when I read it in like 2020, 2019, something like that. So I think I need to. But I didn't know that this is one that I would feel like about until the end of the year. This is one that I just got, and I simply ran out of time. That is Thistlefoot by Jenna Rose Nethercott. This is obviously like a Baba Yaga, you know, I think it has some like Jewish, I think maybe the author's Jewish. I've just heard a lot of like Jewish bookish creators talking about this, so I feel like there's some elements there. But this is one that I got like late October and just didn't have time to fit into spooky season. Part of my brain wants to save this for next spooky season, but I'm also like, I kind of want to read it now. It is that sort of like Eastern European inspired, so I feel like it's also good for winter, because those books just tend to be set in like frigid Eastern European winter settings. So maybe I can get to it early on this year and read it during winter, but if I don't, I'll probably save it for spooky season, because that's just how my brain works. But I wish I could have gotten to it this year, because this is one of the 2022 releases that I hear really good things about. Then one of my goals that I didn't get to, one of my like last half of the year goals. I got to everything else but this, but wrapping up Monstrous. At the time, I had just owned up to volume 5. I'd owned volumes 4 and 5, I think. I just got 6 and 7 for Christmas, so now like I have the full thing. But I said I wanted to finish this before the end of the year. I just didn't get around to it. Some of you are probably like, you could read it now in the next couple of days. I totally could, but then it would just feel like I'm just trying to get it in. And I'm also reading a couple of books that I had reserved for my library for Nonfiction November, and they finally came in because they had like 4-month-long wait times. I'm just trying to get those ready from the library instead of having to put those on hold again. So that's what I'm committing the rest of my year to, I say, is there's like 2-3 days left, and not this. But now that I do have this full series, I can binge the rest of it. I'll talk about this series more in some upcoming videos. And lastly, and I think this is the biggest one, this is one that I kept saying I was gonna get to these last few months. Like I was like, okay, I didn't get into October, I'm gonna read it in November. Didn't get to it in November, gonna read it in December, and then just didn't because I ran out of time. That's The Last Graduate by Naomi Novik. This is the second book in the Scholomance series, and I reread Deadly Education earlier this year and ended up bumping it up to a 5-star because I just really enjoyed it. And I kept saying I was gonna get to this and I just didn't. And I think at the time when I reread the first book, did I just smear my makeup? Okay, she's fine. I'm so used to not wearing makeup anymore that like having it on my eyes, my body's just like, wipe everything off. But I think when I reread this, it was earlier on in the year and I didn't own this one yet. I wanna say I got it for my birthday, and then the last half of the year, as you guys know, just like flies for me in my brain. And I just ran out of time. But I want to read this early, like this next coming year. Like I really want to get to it and then finish up with The Golden Enclave, even though I don't own that book at this point. But I do, I want to wrap it up. So yeah, those are the 5 books that I wish I would have gotten to in 2022. Comment below and let me know some books that you wish you would have gotten to before the end of the year. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.